Okay, so it is, so for your exam review, we're just going to go over a past exam. So this is the Calc 1 exam from spring 2022. And so we're just going to work through this exam, and hopefully that will get you prepared for your calculus exam. Let's get going. So on the first one, it says we're going to answer some multiple choice problems. So suppose y is a linear function of x. Let delta y represent any change in the value of y, and delta x represent the corresponding change in the value of x. Which of the following graphs could represent the relationship between x and y provided by delta y equals 2 delta x? So what this is saying is that for every one change, or for every time x changes by some amount, y is going to change by twice that amount. So if we look at each of these, if I change in x by 1, y should, so this is when x changes by 1, y changes by 1. This one is when x changes by 1, y changes by 2. So this is one that would work. This one is when x changes by 1, y changes by a half. This one is when x changes by 1, y changes by negative 1/2. So the correct answer is B. For the next one, the following expression represents the derivative of what function? So I can see here that I know that this looks like the limit definition of derivative, and I know that its limit as delta 8x goes to 0 of f of x plus delta x minus f of x over delta x. And so this is the format that I'm looking at. So when I'm thinking about this, I want to think about that my f of x plus delta x is going to match with this part here that has the x plus delta x. So that matches with that. And the f minus f of x would match with this. And then the delta x would match with this part. So I can see those pieces from the definition. And so what that means is that I'm looking for the value of f of x. Well, I know that f of x is this part right here. So this is my f of x. 2x to the 7th minus 5x plus 8. So the answer is B. On the next one, the function f is continuous on the closed interval 1, 2. Some values of f are shown in the table. So I'm just going to plot those points real quick so that we can kind of see. So at negative 3, at negative 2, when x is negative 2, f of x is negative 3. So I'll put that down here. When f of x is, failing here. When x is negative 2, f is negative 3. So there. And at negative 1, we are at the value of 7. So that's here. When x is 0, the value is k. We don't know what that value is. And when f is 1, the value is 3. Okay. And so the question is, the equation f of x equals 3/2 must have at least 2 solutions in the interval 1, 1. So let's plot that graph. F of x equals 3/2, that's 1.5, so that's here. On the interval negative 1, 1. So negative 1, 1. So we're looking here. If k is what? Well, for it to have 2 solutions, it would need to somehow drop below that line 3/2. So I'd need to pick a value that's less than 3/2. So the value 3 is too big. So the value 3 would give me a point up here. Then it doesn't necessarily guarantee anything. The value 5/2, again, is too big. That's going to be up here. The value 1 is going to be below that line. So that is a value that would work. The value 3/2 is exactly on the line. So that would only guarantee one solution. So that can be thrown out. And the value 2, again, is too big. So c equals 1 is the correct solution. Okay, the graph of the function is given below. Note that the scales on the x and y axes are the same, okay? Which of the following inequalities are true? So I'm going to go ahead and label then f of a, and I'm going to label f of b. Okay, and let's think about what each of these are. What is this expression here saying? F of b minus f of a over b minus a. That is going to be the slope of this secant line. Okay. F of b minus f of a is going to be this value here, this difference here. So that is just the change in y. So in this case, it would be 3.5 minus 1. So this is 2.5. F of a plus h minus f of a over h, the limit as h goes to 0 of that, that would be represented by the slope of the tangent line at the point A when we plug in a into our derivative. So that would be this slope, which is 0. And I think those are the only ones. So we can see that, so I can compute f of b minus f of a over b minus a. So that would be, f of b minus f of a. That is 2.5. And I'm going to divide that by b minus a. So b is 5.5 minus 2.5. So it's 2.5 divided by 3. The biggest one is going to be the green one. So that green one, f of b minus f of a, should be the biggest one. So I know it's going to be at least one of those two. And then next in line is this slope deal. And then the smallest one is 0, which is this one here. So the correct answer is D.